Ayan.
Okay?
Yeah.
I do not see it.
Tayo mo lang mga 5 seconds.
Here.
Alright.
Now, share.
Tingnan ko rin.
Start na ba?
Yeah.
Sound check. 1, 2, 3.
Okay naman ang sound na.
Sound check. Magandang gabi. Ako po si Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Kasama ko po si JP Parela. We're doing a Luminous live today. Plus one, I wasn't on Karambola. I went on Tambayan today. Yung puman, marami pong maaari natin pag-usapan ngayong araw na ito. Halimbawa, kapag-umpisa tayo sa ano ba ang issue tungkol dito sa recovered cases sa DOH. Ano po ba yung what constitutes fake news? Kasi ang dami pagdating dito sa pagdating dito sa COVID. Maraming tinaguri ang fake news at striktong-strikto ngayon sa social media, especially sa Facebook. Kapag meron kayong pinost na kinoconsider ng Facebook na fake news, lalo-lalo na sa larangan ng research dito sa COVID. Halimbawa, yung paggamit ng
Hydrochloroquine.
Hydrochloroquine. Hydrochloroquine. Basta yan.
So, yun na nga, dahil itong term na to is something sumikat lang recently. No? Hindi naman to hindi ito isang bagay na kinalakyan natin. Yung term. In fact, when you do some very casual search, it started to become popular only in 2016, the term. And lumabas ito, kasi ang nagpauso nito, actually si parang Donald
Okay.
Yeah. Sa kanyang mga birada sa mga media persons na authority yun. Di ba? As in long-standing, highly respected media in the US, tawagin ka ba ng fake news, di ba? Then you really draw a lot of attention.
Okay.
So, ayan, mainit yan, and very, very common na binabato natin against each other. We understand what it means, di ba? And do we really have any provisions in law against it? Tapos anong klaseng pag-iingat ang dapat nating gawin para tayo active sa communication, hindi mag-commit ng fake news or unjustly call others as fake news. Diba? So, yun. Pero simulan natin dun sa pinakamainit na topic, yung ating nasapawan yung yung 4,000 na bagong cases sa...
Ngayon 4,000 ang concept, pero 4,000 not just in one day.
Kaya nasapawan yung cases ng mas malaking numero, which is
34,000.
yung biglang gumaling.
Yung mga recoveries. Una, nagkaroon ng issue kasi nag-announce ang DOH na meron na silang bagong protocol pagdating din sa pagbibilang ng recovered cases. Dati kasi, bago ka mo-consider na recovered, ilang beses ka na PCR test at repeatedly negative siya. So, protocol yun.
Twice.
At least twice.
Established na positive once.
Positive ka na. Basta ka
And
na sa
before
PCR.
you're declared completely, kumbaga, recovered, dapat meron kang twice na
negative.
Okay?
In the meantime, in between, madalas kasi nagte-test positive mga asymptomatics. Ibig sabihin, wala kang lagnat, wala kang symptoms or very milding symptoms. Lalamunan, hirap huminga, pero otherwise, completely, ambulatory ka, nakakakain, walang lagnat, etc. So yung mga ganon, if after 14 days you don't develop, hindi nagiging critical or you develop additional symptoms, at eventually mag-abate, kung meron kang slight na symptoms naman, mag-abate yun within 14 days, i-consider ka ng recovered kahit hindi ka na i-test ulit.
Aha, saan galing yan? Saan galing yan? I read that from the CDC.
Nasa CDC
Okay.
yan, and nasa WHO.
Ang CDC guidelines was, in fact, it's even shorter. 10 days daw na
10 to 11 yan.
hindi ka nagkaroon ng, after 10 days of isolation, na hindi kumbaga, lumala ang iyong symptoms, and hindi ka nagkaroon ng lagnat for 24 hours, you don't need to be tested out, and you don't need to continue your quarantine beyond that.
Tapos na.
Okay?
Tapos na yung issue. Wala ka ng issues. Kumbaga.
Pero, nung binasa ko siya, beyond that, meron din siya malinaw ng mga caveat doon. Ang sinasabi ng CDC is, this is only applicable if, and only if, hindi malala yung symptoms mo, yung baga wala ng lagnat mo, hindi yun dahil uminom ka ng paracetamol. At hindi rin naman nila sinasabi doon na this is an absolute truth. Okay? Ang sinasabi nila is take it with caution because as long as you have the symptoms, you're still, kumbaga, you still have the virus. In fact, ang sinasabi din dyan in the same CDC guideline, it is known that even after you have recovered, you can still test positive because you're still shedding the virus. Okay?
May mga pira-piraso ng virus na nasa bloodstream pa, hindi pa natatanggal sa katawan. Pero tapos na yung sakit. It's run its course. Madidetect kasi ang PCR detects the presence of the virus.
Okay.
Kahit pira-piraso yung virus, madidetect pa rin yan. Kahit
So
wala
hindi
ka
na
ng
siya
sakit.
viable to cause any
Hindi
infection.
na siya mag-replicate.
Okay. So, in terms of our own DOH policy, was this the one applied to consider all the 38,000?
Originally, hindi. Kaya nga nagka-accumulation ng 38,000. Sabi dito, sabi ng DOH, of the 38,075 recoveries reported today, 909 were based on RESU updates, which means yun yung current, and 37,166 was part of the time-based tagging methodology. Cases with mild disease or asymptomatic whose date of onset of illness was more than 14 days ago. And shall be tagged as recovered from the enhanced date of data reconciliation efforts with the local
So we don't
governments.
even counter-checking
Hindi,
their
kasi
status.
LGU na nanggaling eh. Sila na yung nakamonitor.
Na wala na.
DOH will not have to pero will not counter-check the original numbers right now, but they will continue to clean up the numbers, which means meron din silang delayed method of double-checking the numbers kung totoo ito.
Okay?
Okay. Pero in the meantime, yung numbers na yun galing mismo sa LGU who are monitoring or supposedly monitoring the asymptomatics or mild cases. Kasi ano yung rule? Pag nag-positive ka, wala kang symptoms, normally pinapauwi. Pag pinauwi, imo-monitor ka ng barangay. Whether or not that is actually implemented or strictly implemented has nothing to do with this. Pero
Hindi natin alam.
hindi natin
ka.
alam.
Diba?
Hindi natin alam. Kasi yung ibang mga protocols na yun relate to subsequent infections. Pero ang kinakount lang dito, as per this particular controversy, is yung mga yon kung umuwi at wala nang nireport ng further symptoms or further deterioration, considered recovered na.
So nagkaroon ng positive yan na reading at some point in their illness. Okay?
Oo, syempre, at the start.
Okay.
Kaya sila minonitor.
And then, ilang percent pa to sa lahat ng sa lahat ng active cases as of yesterday?
Ano ulit?
Ilan ba ang active cases natin yesterday? So sabihin na natin nasa 40 plus ba yan?
Yung nasa 7.
No, total yon.
Oo.
Pero yung active as of yesterday was only one. Ilan na lang ang active na natira ngayon? Kung i-minus natin yung 38,000. Okay, I'm raising this question because I am one of those who are skeptical about all of these numbers
Mm.
coming out of UH. Mula pa lang sa positive, hanggang ngayon dyan sa recover, pati yung deaths, okay, to me, ito ay mga mahiwagang numero na hindi talaga siya representative of one, yung mga standard na mga ratio. Una, nagsimula tayo ng napakaraming namamatay, pero napakakonti lang yung nire-recognize na positive. Na pag tinignan mo yung percentage ng namamatay daily, hindi naman siya nagko-coincide dun sa positive no kung kailan yan sila namatay. Kung kailan yan sila, di ba?
Issue naman yan from day one.
Yes.
Kasi, yun nga, wala silang policy about yung asymptomatic. So, they had a policy, kailangan nga mag-retest ilang beses. So, tumatagal yung case live. Ibig sabihin, nakalag ka as an active case, kahit actually gumaling ka na, pumapasok ka na or whatever. Then, tapos na yung 14-day period. So, parang lumalabas, di ba, umaakit ang marketing cases, nakakaalarma kasi umabot ng what, 60,000, 70,000 total cases. Tapos ang active nun, let's say, something like 50 plus thousand.
Yeah, we stayed there for a long time, for months.
Siya doon. So, nagmumukha talagang,
ano nangyayari yan? Ba't hindi gumagaling? Di ba parang
kaya
gano'n?
nga, actually, matagal ko nang pinupukpok yun. Bakit? Hindi nagmamatch. Magre-report sila ng, ito yung number na gumaling, ito yung number na namatay.
Okay.
Ang daming active cases. Yung active cases na yun, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Parang may constant siya. Bakit walang gumagaling? 4 na buwan na. Are you saying lahat yun nasa ICU? However, towards those months, naging critical yung napupuno yung mga ICU.
Oo. Ano?
So, ibig sabihin, during that 4-month period, na pataas ng pataas, tapos parang walang gumagaling, hindi naman nag-o-occupy ng ICU beds or critical care. So, ano yung ibig sabihin ng? Ibig sabihin, merong gumagaling, hindi nila nabibilang. O ngayon, sinundan nila yung WHO, yung CDC protocol, no more testing. Kasi nga, ang tagal kung magte-testing ka ba. In fact, yun yung isang dahilan kung bakit natagalan yung mga OFWs, di ba?
Okay.
Na naka-quarantine.
Kasi
Kahit lampas 14 days na,
nag-positive na sila.
kailangan mag-PCR pa. Hindi, in fact, nag-testing sila. Tapos ang tagal-tagal ng resulta, lampas 14 days na nandun pa sila, yung iba umabot ng 30 days.
Wala naman silang ini-exhibit na kahit anong sakit.
Walang symptoms, walang kahit ano. Pero nag-test sila, walang test results.
Alright.
Ito namang magagaling na kung sino-sino, like Bureau of Quarantine, hindi hinahatid yung test results, hindi binibigay, whatever.
So,
Pag umabot sila dun sa 14 days, dapat release na sila. Regardless of test results.
alright. So ang assumption dito na sinasakyan nila is yung transmission daw ng asymptomatics is ano ba? Hindi siya nangyayari o hindi
Nangyayari
siya
pa rin. Pero,
hindi siya ganun katindi after a certain
Lumalay
period of
natin
time?
yung issue of transmission dun sa issue nitong recoveries na to. Kasi binibilang lang natin kung sino yung tapos na. O ngayon na tapos na, hindi na sila magta-transmit. Pero at the time that they were asymptomatic, so far all the case studies show that you can transfer the disease even if you're asymptomatic.
Correct.
Okay.
So, hindi ito ibig sabihin na dahil asymptomatic sila,
Oh.
wala silang, kumbaga, walang risk na sila ay nagkakalat ng sakit. Okay, so that is number 1. No? Na hindi yun nangangahulugan na dahil asymptomatic, hindi sila nakakahawa.
May sakit pa rin sila. You
Correct.
have to treat them as having the disease.
Alright. So only as after a certain period of time, na mula nung na-infect ka,
isolation
hanggang sa
dapat.
ano, you have to pass through that certain period of time, and then kung wala ka naman sakit, probably hindi ka na makakahawa. So ganun yung assumption.
Yeah.
So ano epekto niyan? Mababawasan ngayon yung need na kailangan mag-exhibit ka ng 2 negative test results. Babawas yan sa kailangan i-test mo araw-araw.
Correct.
Di ba? Ang laking numero niyan kasi yung kunwari, magkaroon ka lang ng 50,000 na positive. That is an additional 100,000 tests. Assuming mag-negative sila dun sa 2, kung dun sa unang try, positive. Another, ano yun? 2 na naman ulit na negative na requirement. Okay? Now, Saan ba nanggaling kasi yung rule na kailangan magdalawang negative?
Yun.
So, yan ay nanggaling dun sa unang-una pang guidelines ng WHO. Okay.
Na kinuha rin naman nila
Sa
sa
WHO.
WHO ba?
Gusto ko lang yung sundan kasi yung isang sinulat kong tungkol dun sa mga piloto, nag-follow up ako dun eh. What happened dun sa pilotong nag-positive? Okay, kasi ang kwento nito, yung isang piloto, na-expose siya dun sa isang piloto na kasama niya sa bahay.
Kasama sila sa house.
Nag-output siya ng dalawa isang gabi, kinabukasan, nakuha ng piloto yung kanyang result,
Test results.
positive siya. So ngayon itong isa kumbaga na-expose siya kasi sa bahay sila, isang buong gabi. Pinuwaran din yan for 14 days. And then, saka lang siya tinest, negative. Pero, kapag 14 days na, completely asymptomatic sa piloto number 1, yung positive. Hindi pa rin siya nirelease kagad ng Hong Kong. Bakit? Anong ni-reward nila? Not only negative. Dalawang test which will show that your antibodies already went up to a certain number. So, ang sinisiguro nila, hindi lang na gumaling ka na. Sinisiguro pa nila na talagang nakapag-develop ka na ng immunity dun sa sakit.
But not everybody will develop an immunity.
Mababa rin yung sinabi, parang 40 lang daw ata or something na ang sabi na ilang test na daw yung yung kasama niya, hindi pa siya maabot dun sa minimum, so hindi pa siya nire-release. So in other words, so there are two criteria, two very important things to look into in releasing them or considering them as healed. One is makakahawa pa ba sila? Number two is gumaling na ba talaga sila? Di ba? Kasi yung second criteria na kailangan mo makapag-develop ng antibodies, that has to do with your own condition. Hindi yung para ma-prevent lang na makahawa ka sa iba. So there are two things to look into. But anyway, to me, nakakabaliw.
Nakakabaliw na sa sarili may 38,075 na.
All this time, we are so
Praning.
Praning.
Yung isang kasing issue dito is testing.
Yes.
Diba? Testing. Gusto natin more testing. Part of that, so nagsabi, 1 million tests. Now, those 1 million tests, kasi 1 person will have to be tested several times. Lalo-lalo na pag asymptomatic ka, makakatatlo ka. Kasi kung may symptoms ka, you don't need to be tested. May symptoms na nga eh. Meron, at least yung 1 test ka lang, and then later on, pagka gumaling ka na.
Yes. So this just puts a little bit of logic into the
numbers of tests.
Kasi the more tests you require, especially from the same person, that is only going to result to one
person
outcome.
lang ang nag-benefit.
Ikaglat mo yung lahat ng laboratory ng buong bansa.
Correct.
Di ba?
So isa pang issue yan, yung mistaken belief na testing more tests
Will
is
do any
better.
good.
So ngayon, medyo mag-rationalize na yun. Kasi hindi na natin kailangan i-retest yung mga asymptomatics. But, ang hindi natin tatanggalin yung kahalagahan ng isolation nila.
Correct.
Kasi, di ba, yung asymptomatic, you pass it on to somebody with comorbidities, di ganun din.
Yeah, so if this move, let's call it development. Okay? If this, hindi naman pwede nakakaling incident to, no? So if this development will actually lead to faster test results, so
faster test results is what we need.
Anong gusto ba natin? Keep natin yung 38,000, dahan-dahanin natin silang wala. Hindi naman it will do us no good. Diba? If these people really do not possess and kumbaga elevated risks of transmitting the virus to anyone else, then that's the problem, di ba?
Then, isang issue din kasi dito, and this is our primary purpose, is the issue of communications. Kasi, una-una, we like to resort to shortcuts. Sasabihin mo, more tests are needed.
Yeah. Why?
Why?
Oh.
First of all, yung initial policy natin was, we test only when there's a basis for testing.
Correct.
Halimbawa, you have been exposed.
Oh.
You have been in
And then
contact with
positive yun,
somebody that has been exposed. Or, you have been on travel, which is a way of being exposed,
Oo.
diba? So, you come from a country where there is COVID.
Yeah.
You come from a household or a community, and people near to you, you've actually been in contact with, have the disease.
Okay.
Hindi yung random, yung kasi ang pinupush ng iba is random drive-through testing.
Oh,
No
as if-
reason for you to think
As
that
if
you have to.
there's a correlation
Ah,
to having a certain percentage of the population tested. As if may impact yan in bringing down the
what
incidence.
is more important is knowing how many people are infected
Right.
first, and then being able to devise a way to isolate them, and then contact tracing na from there on. Who did they come in contact to at the time that they were developing the disease? You know?
Yes.
So,
Where?
shortcuts. Again, the
Oo.
problem is shortcuts. More testing daw is equal to better management.
believe that.
That's not true. Diba?
There's no logic into it.
You have to put a reason for the testing.
And precision kasi isipin mo like if you look at the DOH statistics, they say that they are testing 9-point-something% of the total number of people testing. Yun yung positive. So that means 90% of these tests. If these are government funded, how much is that per test? And you already had more than 1 million people tested.
Right.
So
No,
900,000.
we had 1 million tests.
Kaya nga.
Not necessarily 1 million people being tested.
Yeah, so assuming ganun yung numbers and 9% lang ang nag-positive dyan. That means 90% of that 1 million is 900,000 times magkano ang kada test. That is
Right.
wastage.
One. Two, those people who, the prices of the tests have not changed much.
Ito-
Ang cover ng PhilHealth is
Yeah.
one test. Ang kino-cover niya, one test, and that covers something like 3,800 pesos maximum. That's the highest price. Hi, glad you could join us.
Ikaw, nagpa-pregnancy test ka na ba?
Oo. Twice na.
Twins?
Hindi.
Ito
Isa lang.
kailangan pregnancy test.
Yeah,
Di ba?
Nakikinig ako sa inyo.
Okay.
This move, okay, kumbaga, this huge issue, it's not an issue for me. For me, it is appalling na nag-keep tayo ng ganyang numero for so long na maaaring naging basis for releases of certain budgets. Di ba?
Yeah.
For food, for testing, or for whatever assistance.
Let's look at let's look at the linguistics analysis of what's going on. We can see that that asking that question or saying this na shortcuts na sinasabi niya, di ba? The more we test, somehow the safer people will feel. Because it begs the question na ginagawa ba ng gobyerno ang dapat nilang gawin? And these people would like the public to think that ang dapat ginagawa ng gobyerno ay ititest tayong lahat. But that is meaningless. But that is linguistics. That is a political linguistics na para meron silang ginagawa, may ginagawa ang gobyerno, hindi kasi 'di ba si Leni Robredo was asking for a definite plan or policy where even in America there is no such thing, but asking for that leads the people to demand na may kulang ang gobyerno dito, walang concrete na plan, right? Diba?
And sa lahat ng pinupuna ko rin na mali ng DOH, ito na sana yung tama nilang ginagawa yung protocols nila on testing before, na later on ay nasway na rin sila dun sa mga Senate hearing na pinupuna sila bakit ganito lang yung dami ng test na nagagawa natin, na dun sa Vietnam ganito yung percent sa kanilang population na na-test, na sa Korea ganito. Alam nyo, I noticed how this rhetoric developed. it started as an argument against Trump.
Sino? Kay Trump? Kasi
Oh,
Trump.
sa US to nagsimula eh. Ginamit nila itong bala to compare Trump's policies, which was, bahala kayo din sa testing. Hindi naman tayo ganun. Okay?
Yes.
Pero ang ginawa nila is, they made comparisons na sa Korea, ganito yung percentage of the population that was tested. Look, they already stopped ganito, ganyan. They already curbed ganyan. So, it appeared na testing,
Fight the disease. Or
And then,
lessen the number of...
dinala natin dito yung rhetoric, dinaya natin yung kwento, wala na, hindi naman si Trump ang issue natin dito, kaya nawala na ngayon ng
But I remember when we had a conversation about February, January.
Oh.
We were talking about the protocol of the WHO. And then I seem to remember na there is this policy sa international organization, no? WHO, na when in times of national or international crisis, politics, the political bodies should be at the helm and not the experts, not the scientists. In other words, sino ba dapat ang pinapakinggan natin sa panahon ng pandemya?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes. In fact, I still subscribe to my earlier assessment na in this kind of situation, hindi to medical issue. It is now a political issue, and never in the entire history of humanity did we put doctors
At the
to
helm of
make
things.
decide matters regarding war, regarding running a country, regarding ano. Okay, some doctors became presidents, but they did not run their country as presidents. Di ba?
Okay.
Ang point dito is, the point being,
Sorry.
mga ganitong klaseng sitwasyon, it requires bold political decisions that are based on rational decision making, na yun naman yung ginagamit dapat ng isang pamahalaan. Hindi naman to exact science eh.
Exactly.
Okay? So, kahapon, kanina umaga, I noticed yung policy na ina-adapt natin ngayon, yung in-announce ni Duterte, which is to devolve that the decision making whether or not to declare a barangay under ECQ, GCQ, or whatever, and no longer the cities, and no longer the national government. Alam niyo po, you have to recognize na since May, I think May, that was May, it was the UP School of Economics who suggested this. Okay? So, at the time when everyone was focused on listening to the doctors, the UP School of Economics already made this suggestion. Bring it down. Because ang ginagamit na analysis dito is not, it's not purely a medical issue. Diba? In theory, you analyze the risks, you cannot analyze the risk of the entire country and use it to apply for all. Diba? You analyze the risk where the risk is felt. Okay. There at the local level. And when they drill it down, their assessment sa UP School of Economics is decide kayo base sa ano nangyayari din sa barangay. Sila the best people to assess their situation.
That's it.
Not the president, not the DOH, not the provincial governor, but the barangay captain. Okay, so ngayon, ito yung ina-adapt na policy ng national government. This is, for me, a very welcome change. No? Into the, even that adoption of a risk-based criteria on whether or not to continue testing or to continue that person, holding that person in the list of positive cases. Okay, this is a move away from what I criticized, which is evidence-based medicine. Na napaka-stricto.
Evidence-based medicine will not work in a pandemic.
Correct.
It will only apply in a normalcy, in a situation of normalcy, in the analysis of development of science. nag-a-apply lang naman tong mga rules na the normal temperature of the human body is 36 point something degrees. But in times of pandemic, diba, we don't even give us attention to our pag ni-scan tayo sa noon natin. Do we give attention to that? Hindi, diba? What were we looking at? Na nakamaskara yan, taong yan, na ganito ganyan. So, the rules of science, especially in medicine, are only applicable and they work well at times of normalcy. At times of pandemics, they should not be applied. So what should be applied are general understanding and theories of how to deal with the disease, knowing what it is, in relation to society.
Okay.
And society is not scientific.
Precisely.
Hindi yan
Not all the
scientific.
time. Not all the time. So in other words, I welcome these developments. All of these developments, I welcome them. No? This is the right way. Moving forward.
Ako, no question. I really don't question pagka sumusunod sila sa protocols, especially established CDC, WHO, meron tayong binabasihan ng mga desisyon na ito. Ang pinakamahalaga dito is yung failure nga to communicate. Yung ginagawa nila. Tignan nyo yung mga announcements nila. In accordance with Chuba-Chuchu Protocol, yun yan. May nakaintindi ba yun? Wala. May actually, ang ginawa ng DOH, naging responsive sila for the first time.
Yes.
Parang, sa tagal naming tinatanong, bakbak na naman yung ng bakbak. Let's say tayo, sa tambayan, sa karambola, halos araw-araw, bakbak ng bakbak, nasa na yung bakit ganyan? Kaya yung pala, yung public perception dun sa sakit na ito, mukhang ang laki-laki pala ng issue. Yung pala 30 plus thousand ang hindi na bilang na gumaling na.
Yeah, that's right.
Nandun pa tayo sa active cases. Kaya nagiging issue yung rising number doon sa critical care tsaka sa ICU. O ngayon, mas tunay yung numbers, tumataas pa rin yung sa ICU and critical care.
There will be a time.
Meron tayong
more cases now.
meron talagang additional cases.
Yes.
Pero, yung existent at current cases is what we have to deal with, and those numbers are what we have to consider when we change quarantine classifications.
Correct.
Okay?
And hindi lang yun. May implication yan sa anong ipoprovide mo na budget for one place or ipoprovide mo na assumption sa pagpaplano kung ilan ang ipe-prepare nyo na isolation areas, all of those things.
Pumipila ba sa labas yung mga tao na nagpapa-testing?
Pero,
are there enough tents? Are there enough holding areas in the ER, etc.?
Yeah. Ang importante ma-clarify lang din, by adopting something from the CDC or something from another country's practices, this doesn't mean that we are, kumbaga, hook, line, and sinker saying that the policy in these countries are better than ours. Okay? No.
Hindi, wala nga eh.
Wala nga.
Ang kinukuha natin, halimbawa, yung mga protocols ng CDC at WHO, kasi they work already.
Yes.
So, pero, hindi rin natin pwede sabihin na, uy, ganito ginawa ng South Korea, ganito ginawa ng Thailand, ganito. Kasi iba-iba yung conditions natin. In fact, iba yung state of medical care natin dito, state of public health, insurance.
Yeah.
Diba, hindi natin alam kung maraming unreported cases kasi natatakot mag-report, natatakot magpa-test dahil nga mahal. Diba? And you won't need a single test. So yung mga, even itong PhilHealth is a factor dito sa pagkalat din ng sakit.
Yes. So I think that what we can take away from this is that government also has to plan what it will do in times of chaos. In other words, you always have to plan for chaos. You don't plan for what this chaos would be. You plan, what do we do? Pagka dumating tayo sa punto na hindi na natin alam anong gagawin. Di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi wala tayong ganyan eh.
Hindi. Meron
Military may ganyan.
merong ano dyan, merong actually studies si Rand dyan. Rand, that big think tank Rand, no?
Mm.
Na yung rational decision making na dapat based ka lagi on
Evidence.
empirical facts, ganun. It never applies in a crisis situation.
Yes.
I mean, in a crisis situation, you just set a general direction and you adapt as you go along, as information comes in, di ba? And to stick to a strategy as if it is policy written in stone in a crisis situation, then that is your
Demise.
that is your stone na nilagay mo sa paa mo at tumalon ka sa tubig.
Okay, anong ibig sabihin natin yan? What do we mean when we want to government of a plan for a time where planning doesn't work?
Isa pa yan, first,
Halimbawa, di ba, parang military.
daming bakbak eh. Nasa ng plano, nasa ng ganito, nasa ng ganyan. With a virus that mutates and studies that change every day, yung plan, the best that you can come up with is an outline.
Yes,
Diba?
but the problem here is that since the government does not have this understanding of chaos, it actually listens to those voices.
Yes.
Na kailangan,
Tanga
and then
eh.
they actually do what they want.
Parang
Yes.
tanga lang. So
Diba, naiiwan ka.
let's keep
Diba?
it real for people. Ano nangyari? Bak si opposition. Nasa ng plano.
Tapos
Hanggang
pagbibigyan.
ngayon, wala pang plano. Chuchuchuchu. Ito naman si Spoksari. May
Gagawa ka ng
plano.
plano.
Nag-ano nga kami, ganito. You don't,
Sometimes
you
you get
don't have
bound
to
by that.
answer
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Diba? In fact, mas real pa ang sagot ng Pangulo kanina. Madaling araw, sabi niya, hihingi ko yung plano. Hindi ko naman na to alam until ngayon lang.
Yeah,
Meron ng
exactly.
vaccine
No
in
one.
development, baka itong Disyembre lalabas na.
Even
At
the brightest,
mag-normal na tayo ulit.
even the most intelligent person in the opposition, even in the Communist Party, understands this.
Yeah.
Na pag panahon ng bakbakan, panahon ng operation, panahon ng di ba, ng sortie, huwag mo akong tatanungin ng central office. Tanungin mo the commander on the ground.
Yes.
And you listen to him and you follow his orders because that is what you are supposed to do when there are no means to find a clear standard.
Yeah. I just want to point out, and baka gusto nyo basahin, the UP School of Economics has this written in a paper. It's a policy paper which was disregarded for a long time, and I'm glad that I don't know how it got into their kokote, but the recommendations there are finally coming into play, and di ba, if we fail to do it earlier, what can we do about that? It's done.
It's done.
But we're doing it now,
Correct.
so I hope this is a move towards liberalizing the very strict na connotation na kailangan meron. As if meron tayong budget for everything,
Correct.
nakasulat na parang nakataga sa bato lahat ng mga bagay. No, that is not how you can deal with a situation like this.
Now, you listen to the opposition, and they say that when the government does something that is not about COVID, they will raise the issue that may pandemya tayo. Why do you say all of this? Why do you want to do all of these other things? And then,
They raise
pero
that issue.
pag sila ang nag-raise ng ibang bagay, yun dapat ang papakinggan ng gobyerno at yun dapat ang gagawin.
Correct.
For
Kaya
example,
ng utang.
yung
Okay,
utang.
I want to talk about that because the other half of the UP School of Economics recommendation was about economic matters. In fact, they made this recommendation because of the economic impact of COVID-19 long before everyone else noticed that there will be a huge impact on our economy. Because yung utang, pagdating sa panahon na ganito, yung paggastos ng gobyerno sa panahon na ganito, is the only thing that will keep this economy
Alive.
alive.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
So you have to do that. Dapat mangutang ka talaga.
Okay. What is
Kaya
GNP?
utang, o yung ginagamit natin yung budget natin para gumastos,
Gastos, yes.
kailangan natin gumastos.
Yes.
Lalo na yung local spending.
So what is GNP?
Ah.
GNP is economics,
Hmm.
third year high school.
Ah.
C plus G plus I plus X minus M. What is C? Consumer spending. What is G? Government spending.
Correct.
What is I?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Philosopher
I
ako.
is investments. Okay? Investments. Okay? C plus G plus I plus X exports minus imports. Yun yung iyong formula para makuha yung GNP.
GNP.
And then you compare that from last year's total, and then you will see, nag-grow tayo.
Yung grow.
Okay, now, imports, exports. Wala tayong pagbibentahan.
Wala akong feeling yun.
Okay, so you expect that to go down. Investments. Sino bang gusto mag-invest sa panahon na to?
Wow.
Aber,
Exactly.
expect that to go
Ano
down.
yung kay Lenny?
Consumption. Wala nga akong pambili eh. Wala nga akong kinita kahapon, di ba?
At saka maraming pinang...
So, paano? Ang inyong pang-plus dyan ay the C plus G plus I plus X minus M. The only thing
That
that
remains.
na kaya mong
Gagawin
is
na,
the
ano,
government
government
spending.
Government
Yes.
spending.
At kung wala ka rin namang kinuha na tax,
Mm.
dahil wala rin pang bayad na tax,
Mm.
what do you do to spend?
Mm.
Two things.
Utang ka.
Mangutang ka, or you listen to the UP School of Economics, and what do they say? Print the money.
Print the money.
Okay, now
Print
this,
it.
this is the most novel of all suggestions. For me, because this is a situation we have never experienced in our lifetimes. Or even,
But we are not aware.
No, anyone
Happens.
alive. Anyone alive now,
Mm.
will never experience this. But, okay, printing money is like borrowing from the future.
Exactly.
Okay, if done with a good policy of paying it back in the future, removing it from the money supply,
Mm. It can be done.
it can be, there is a chance. For me, I see it as a very, very good suggestion that must be looked into.
That's right, because it's already being done. It's been done by the World Bank, by the WB, International Monetary Fund. Ang ibig sabihin kasi ng printing money is loaning, lending money
Yeah.
to people. That goes to the principle that, and a truth of this 21st century world, that it is not the central bank of each country that controls the printing of money. It's the banks, it's the bankers, it's the international banks that actually make money, print money, Filipino money, US money, every money in every country. Because when they lend you money, they actually print money. That will be, that will only be paid in the future, that will have a value in the future.
Ang tawag dyan is velocity of money supply. Okay, now for every peso printed, that actually translates into several thousands of economic transactions.
Yes.
So, dahil yung perang nililipat-lipat from me to you to isang daan lang naman yan na inutang mo, nadi-deposit dito sa bangko, tapos pinautang ulit sa kanya. So yan yung konsepto niyan. But these are no normal
Times.
And ang general rule dyan is si central bank should always see to it na the money supply in the economy equals the actual GNP of the economy. So, kung masobrahan na yung kanilang money supply, bawas sila.
Bawas ka.
Kung kulang, dagdag ka. So, eto ang suggestion ng School of Economics dun sa policy paper na yan, and I don't know if they have a newer one, is, teka, wala ka ngayong titingnan ganyan. I-print mo muna yung kailangan mong pera.
Just make the money.
And make the people earn. Okay. Now,
Circulate it.
ang hindi ko lang nasasakyan dun sa kanilang suggestions, ipamigay mo sa tao. Through stock, through I don't believe in that. I still would like to go back to John Maynard Keynes. Who made this suggestion to the US government.
Ang sabi?
print the money, put it in a bottle,
Leave it there.
put it in a bottle, and then you hire some people to dig a hole, put the bottle in the hole, another set of people
To dig it up.
and the others to dig it up, and then you pay them.
You pay them.
Okay, that is kumbaga,
Artificial.
example, okay? And
It's what Roosevelt
do not,
did.
do not take it kumbaga, literally. That means national government, you find a way for people to do something, to earn the money that
That you will pray.
that will
Ang sabi ni
really,
Roosevelt,
really,
chicken in every pot. Ngayon, they're coming out of the Great Depression. To revitalize the economy, nag-hire sila. Street sweepers.
yes.
Wawalis.
Wawalis lang.
Sa gabi, may magtatawa na.
Yeah.
Sa in the
Okay.
morning, may
But the
magwawalis.
practical,
Pero, ang point doon is, may
May
perang
sweldo.
umiikot.
May
Yun
umiikot.
yung
May
sinasabi
bumibili.
namin dito. Kailangan may umiikot na pera sa ekonomiya para
May ekonomiya.
may ekonomiya to begin with.
Yeah.
Dahil nag-lockdown tayo, dahil restricted yung mga movements natin, dahil nga may COVID dyan sa labas, there has to be a way. So ginagawa ng gobyerno, isang way para lumabas ang pera, itong ayuda.
Amigay.
Okay, mamigay ng pera. Kasi nga, hindi makalabas yung mga tao, paano sila kakain. Ngayon, limited, GCQ, nasa labas. Hindi pa rin lahat nakakakain kasi hindi lahat makakatrabaho.
Oo.
Kasi limited pa rin yung movements. Yung iba makakatrabaho, yung iba hindi.
Yes.
O anong gagawin natin? Sagutin natin ng ayuda yung mga walang trabaho kasi gagastos pa rin sila yung pera. Iikot pa rin
Yes.
sa ekonomiya yan.
Which is a very short-term way of
Short-term siya,
looking
oo.
at things, no?
Ngayon,
That may have worked.
Hmm.
Nung ang ating akala sa simula matatapos na yung mga matter of 1 or 2 months. But it seems that it won't.
It
No.
won't.
Diba?
So,
So, ang mga practical na ginawa, using that policy recommendation by John Maynard Keynes to the Roosevelt government was yung paggawa ng mga subway sa New York. Mga bagay na halos
Mga
hindi
tulay.
na mag-isip. May silbi ba ito? Ba't tayo naghuhukay dyan? Okay, they did not dig holes to bury bottles with money. They dug holes for trains to pass.
Yes.
They built highways. Yun ang mga ginawa nila.
Yes.
Okay.
So ang messaging dapat ngayon is that people who are not sick can still do things. They can still work, and there are many jobs that can be done without putting yourself in so much danger of getting infected by this virus. Diba? Instead of locking us down and rendering us all completely useless and fat, bigyan tayo ng ideas ng trabaho so that meron akong problema dito sa DTI, at is BIR, when they go into talks of taxing all these people na nagbibenta ng cookies, ng mga cupcakes, na tax, what the hell? Tipong, imbis na i-encourage mo na nagnegosyo itong mga tao na to in their small ways, in their safe ways, you discourage it by threatening them to tax them. Threatening them to be closed down because it's an illegal business enterprise, which is not.
Not at this time.
Hindi na nagbibenta ng droga yan, yung talagang inherently bad things. Diba? So, going after these smaller things when they are actually restarting the economy,
Contributing.
diba, is crazy.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So,
Okay.
in other words, kailangan maging consistent tong moves na to. No? Because doing away with that very strict, myopic view na kailangan, nandiyan ka lang sa bahay. Ito, ganyan. No. Di ba? A lot of things will tell us that there are safer ways of doing things. And doing construction at this time may not be as
Dangerous.
unsafe or
Yeah.
dangerous. Diba? Especially when you
Yeah,
put
the
when you
streets.
put equipment there, when you put the proper work policies there, you train the engineers well, you put more safety officers in each construction site,
Mm.
government can do this.
Oh.
So yung ating mga nakabudget na nakabimbing na hindi tinuloy ng mga infrastructure project,
Ngayon
this is the
dapat
right
yun.
time to do it.
Okay, sa construction, for example, you break it down into stages. First stage planning and all of that, getting this documentation on that in order. The next thing is logistics, bringing things to the site. So ngayon yung gawin yan, hakutin nyo lahat ng bakal dyan, ito ganyan, keep them safe, employ people to watch these things.
Yes.
Para may ginagawa na parang modular na trabaho,
Yes.
di ba?
But basic requirement is, maintindihan ng lahat ano yung tamang safety measures. Di ba? Ano yung mga dangers na kailangan ma-recognize.
Yes.
Yun yung importante. Kasi ang problema natin hanggang ngayon sa communications na sinasabi mo kanina pa, di ba, is they've been telling us about the number of cases, the number of ano. Doon lang tayo nakafocus.
Well, nandun din tayo sa social distancing, face mask, wash
Yeah,
hands.
and they've been telling us the wrong things. Di ba? 1 meter, ganito, ganyan. Na kailangan mag-stick to evidence-based. Okay.
What do you mean stick to
Ang
evidence?
kailangan nating i-recognize kung meron mga scientific findings which indicate risks. Di ba? Huwag natin sabihin na evidence-based, hindi natin i-recognize yung risk. Kasi yun yung delikado.
Negative space.
Ano yan?
Yeah,
Ah?
yung visuals natin,
Okay, okay.
introduce ko yung concept of negative space.
So, kasi kailangan natin social distancing eh.
Oo nga. Hindi, yung negative space yung nasa taas. Walang activity, dead space yan. Yan.
Baka.
Gusto may cut-off ni Ahmed yung
Hindi, kasi nakapaa tayo.
Kasi hindi yan
Diba?
pwedeng palitin na rate proportion kasi.
Pasensya na wala kaming cameraman. At
Kaya may cameraman.
So, in other words, may mga bagay, may mga findings na scientifically established na mga danger na hindi nire-recognize hanggang ngayon. Katulad na lang yung distance na kailangan. Bakit hanggang ngayon 1 meter pa rin yung nasa bida?
Ano
It
ba
should
siya?
be 2
Policy.
meters.
Bago lang yung bida policy nyo ha, 1 meter pa rin hanggang ngayon.
6 feet.
Because
2 meters.
yun yung evidence base nyo, 1 meter.
Yes.
Hand washing nyo. Wala ka kayong sinasabi kung ilang beses sa isang araw, dapat yung madalas na paghuhugas ng kamay, ilang beses yan.
Maghugas kayo every 5 minutes.
Di ba?
Or
Ganun ba
something
yun?
like that.
Di ba? Be more specific and then explain why. Ipaalam mo sa tao, bakit? Bakit ako didistansya
Ako,
sa'yo ng ganyang
ano yung mas concern ko? Yung mga ganyan kasi you're responsible for your own self.
Yeah.
Pag nasa labas ka na,
Yun eh.
ayun nagkakagulo. Okay, let's start with the most controversial one. Rally.
Ay, naku.
First rally sa UP, medyo pa ano pa ako eh. Nakikita mo sa pictures, uy may attempt pa sila
Ay,
sa social
wala.
distancing. There's pictures.
Pictures
Pero dun
nila.
sa, in actuality, wala.
May video ko nun eh.
So, nasabihin nila, importante ano, without going into whether or not it's their right. Okay? Sige, may karapatan kayo, pero wala kayong karapatan pumatay ng ibang tao.
Yan.
Yung creating activities,
Na-establish na by evidence-based medicine as the cause of transmissions.
diba? So, ano yung, kumbaga, dito ko naiinis eh, hindi equal talaga yung pagbabaston natin sa mga tao.
Correct.
Okay. Galit tayo kay General Sinas.
Oo.
Galit talaga ako. Tapos, pinayagan ng UP. Pinayagan ng rally-rally. Bakit mas mahalaga yon? Sasabihin nila, because it is a
Human
petition
rights.
for redress of grievances bilang isang karapatan na nakasaad sa saligang batas. O sige, pero may karapatan din yung ibang tao na huwag mahawa.
Correct.
Okay. O ngayon, sabihin na natin na walang mga tao doon na hindi willing to take the risk. Buti sana kung ikaw
Sila.
lang magkakasakit ka, mamamatay ka mag-isa.
Hindi ba sila
Baka
mamimili sa mga
magkakasakit.
tindahan?
Hindi. Pupunta sa ospital yan.
Hinahassle mo yung mga tao sa ospital.
Expose nila yung medical frontliners. Kung government hospital pa yan, di ginastosan pa natin. O, tapos, hindi lang yung medical frontliners, yung mag-a-assist, yung sikyo, na sasalubong sa'yo sa ER. Yan. Yung taxi driver na nagdala sa'yo doon, o kaya yung grab driver.
Yeah.
O yung kapamilya mo na naghatid sa'yo. another exposure yan. So may multiplier effect ito.
Ang dami.
Pwede mo sabihin, sige, rally dahil meron kayong concern. Fine. Pero ano yung concern ninyo for other people?
Yes, and that only is, kumbaga ang rumerenda lang dito ay sarili natin at sarili nating sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
Na itong mga taong nagrarally nito, I don't see it in them. Na wala talagang sense of responsibility na hindi ba natin pwedeng i-postpone na lang muna to?
Oo. Balik na lang kayo sa online
Parang
rally.
gigil na gigil
Diba?
kayo na tanggalin ang president. You cannot remove this president, not at this time.
Oo.
Do you understand that?
Good luck with that.
This is a pandemic.
Oo.
Kantihin niyo yung presidente, he will declare a martial law. He will send you all to prison. Did you achieve your objective? No. Sisiraan niyo lang ang husto si Duterte.
Or
But meanwhile, habang may pandemic, nakakulong kayo.
Or worse, yung mga tumutulak sa inyo, yung mga nag-organize niyan, ano ba talaga ang pakay ninyo?
Correct.
Diba? Ano ba talaga ang pakay ninyo?
Hindi.
Gusto ba nila no lumala yung numbers sa COVID para pwede nilang sabihin, o tignan niyo yung presidente, he mismanaged this?
And
Diba?
then what? What do you
And then
achieve?
what? Diba?
Matatanggal ang presidente. Who by impeachment? Gusto niyo ng people power? The people who are on the side of the president are more numerous than you are.
Mas concerned din ako. Halimbawa, ang head talaga ng IATF is the DOH secretary.
Yes.
Kasi nga, pandemic, national public health emergency.
Yeah.
Pwede siyang gumawa, mag-suggest, teka, masyado tayo nag-create ng instances of transmission that are not productive. Diba? Maintindihan mo, people want to go to work. O sige, you cannot help that, it's an economic activity, fine. Pero ano ang gagawin ng rally? Petition for redress of grievances. Can't we do that by fighting a case in the Supreme
Exactly.
Court? Mag-Twitter rally kayo, anyway, work from home naman, hindi pa pwedeng rally from home na lang ulit. Balik na kayo dun sa kahibangan niyo dati.
At saka, the worst part is, yung kanilang mga, yung mga call nila, the reason why they did this, to begin with, is to ask for the legislature to reverse their own decision. Di ba? They should have done that
Naglabi dapat kayo.
before it was approved. Not after.
In other words, yung para sa akin kasi,
And there's absolutely no outcome
wala.
sa yung
Di ba?
Very
Useless. There is
It's
no
a
sense
state
of
of public
success.
health emergency.
Yeah.
Pwede tayong maglimita ng karapatan. Nandun din yun, dun sa Republic Act 11332. In cases of a pandemic, pwede kang
Pwede kang
mag-issue
mag-martial
ng
law.
rules. So,
So anyway.
Hindi,
So,
ang tanong, bakit hindi pinagbabawal?
Correct.
Bakit hindi dinidisperse ng
Yun nga.
PNP? Meron bang existing government policy na pabayaan sila? Bakit? Natatakot sila sa susunod na eleksyon? What is going on?
Diba?
Bakit pinapayagan yan?
Ngayon, ang sa akin kasi, why isn't the president doing this instead? Yung para sa akin is, well, if the president orders this, and the people under him are the stupid ones who are not doing anything, or just allowing all of these rallies, will stand against him, then you actually have a deposed president. That is why he is not doing it. He is leaving it to us to make the people understand that what they want to do in the streets during these rallies is useless to them. It just exposes them to the virus without any foreseeable achievement
Yeah,
or
wala.
any objective.
Wala outcome na ma-achieve eh.
Wala.
Wala.
Diba? If you look at the
Tsaka kaya
process,
sila nagrarally? Kasi walang may kakaso eh.
Idiots
They
eh.
can go to the Supreme Court and say, uy, ano bang issue ba nila nitong last rally? Hindi ko na yata maalala.
ABS-CBN at saka itong anti-terror law.
Wala silang karapatan ng pinaninindigan dyan eh.
That is why they just violate laws like that.
sa ABS-CBN, bakit hindi sila nag-rally araw-araw? Noong pagbubutuhan pa lang. Diba, bakit after? Tapos na eh. Ano gusto nangyari?
In other words, you please look at your situation. If it is a hopeless situation, wait for the elections. Because if you continue doing this, and the president declares martial law, the rest of his term will be in martial, you cannot do anything to him.
nagpe-prepare naman na sila para sa election. In fairness, in fact, nagpapa-memorize
Hindi
na nga
nga,
sila ng
yun
mga
nga
pangalan
yung
eh.
ano ko eh, yun nga yung point ko eh. Politika pa rin yung nagpapairal dito. At the expense of public health, at the expense of the lives of countless people, pinapayagan yung mga rally na ganyan when actually the law will allow you to stop it.
Yes, we will justify the control, the stricter control of freedom of expression, at ng grievances, kagaya ng rally na yan, at least yung rally. But you can say anything you want online. You can say anything you like on your live video. Di ba? Wala namang pumipigil sa inyo dyan. But you want to go on a rally where there is a danger of infecting yourself and other people. So,
kung
what the hell is this?
Sige, may right ka mag-petition for
Citizenship.
redress of grievances. Pero, may right lang everybody else to protect themselves from you.
Kami, tingnan nyo kami ha, we wanted ABS-CBN down. Nag-rally ba kami? Hindi. We pulled together our knowledge, JP, ako, Trixie, and other people, and we talked about this online, on radio. And where did it lead us?
Awareness.
Diba, ABS-CBN is like gone. So that, we can do that.
Kasi kung tama naman yung pinaglalaban ninyo,
Right,
and then
right.
you expose that to as many people as possible, and then you convince people, we have a representative legislature.
It
It's
is
impossible that they will not
na walang
take
makikinig
cognizance.
sa'yo.
Teka, totoo yung sinasabi dyan. Pero na lang kung ang sinasabi nyo kasi walang kwenta eh.
Yung fake
May
news.
oras kasi para sa lahat ng bagay.
Yeah.
Yun na lang yun. May
Start
oras
it.
sa lahat ng bagay.
Yeah.
Baka ngayon, oras na nga mag-declare ng martial law eh.
Yun para sa akin kasi it will be justified insofar as these rallies are concerned. Kasi nakikita natin there is actually now evidence-based statement that because of these rallies, more people are getting infected indirectly because of these rallies.
Diba?
So, what can the president do? There are other freedoms, there are rights in the Constitution that you can exercise without any limits, except going out and getting the virus and getting other people get the virus as well.
But martial law is, for me, martial law will not do us any good in addressing this whole thing.
Yes,
But,
but we're not addressing the COVID-19. We are addressing stupid people endangering other people.
Right, okay. And to stop them, you do not need any martial law. Okay?
Exactly.
You begin with
We imprison them.
simple
Hindi kasi the
understanding
existing
what's going on.
rules allow it eh.
Kaya nga,
Oh.
and the existing
Hindi
rules
sila
allow
pwede
it. Look at the
arrest
DOH
lang sila
website.
sandali. Oh.
Look at the DOH website. What guidance can you find there
Oh, like,
that will logically explain why they are doing this or telling you to do this and that?
para sa seminar, hindi naman yan epektibo na
Diba?
knowledge manager. What we really need, what I want to suggest to the President or to the PNP, hulihin nyo yung mga nagrally. Hulihin nyo, reduce them as much as you can from the streets. Take them to the prison, to the cells, or wherever. Send them all back home.
Para dun sila magkakuhan.
Just magkakaso sila, then allow it. Hintayin nyo na ma-file yung kaso nila against you in the Supreme Court. Anyway, we will see kung alin dito ang mas epektibo na paghinto o pagpapabagal ng pagkakalat nitong virus na to.
Yes.
Hulihin nyo!
Okay, so that's the other extreme, no? Na pwede
Dati,
mangyari.
nagrarally tayo, hinuhuli tayo.
Dinidisperse tayo.
Dinidisperse tayo.
Diba?
Bakit itong mga
Ngayon na may
rally
pandemya,
tayo?
walang
Ngayon na,
hinuhuli.
kailan? Dati,
What the fuck?
di ba? Ang gagawin nila, paparalihin ka sa zona. After so many hours, di-disperse na kayo.
Actually,
Hindi
they will
kayo
start the
pwede.
fight.
Basta
Ganito
may tatwanson pa tayo
let's
nun.
be practical.
Oh.
Let's be practical. Kung ako din naman si PNP, yung aming mga formation against rallies ay shield to shield.
Siksikan din.
Ano yan? Gagawin ko ba yan?
Hindi ibig sabihin,
At this time?
pagsisimula pa lang,
Diba? So to begin with,
hulihin nyo na yan.
yung mga nag-organize pa lang,
Oo.
di ba?
Yan.
Discourage na ng it's you. Huwag nyo nang bigyan ng permit. Huwag mo lang
Bigyan
siya,
ng
di
permit.
ba?
Oo.
You do not
Hindi,
even have
kasi
to
nga,
go to the
bigyan pa rin
Permitless
eh.
eh,
Kahit walang
permitless.
permit. Freedom Park ang UP.
Kaya
Pwede
hulihin.
mag-rally dyan.
Hulihin.
Oo.
Hindi required ang permit dyan.
Okay, think about the economics, the microeconomics of it all. If you bought all of your personnel safety gear, in order to arrest these people during rallies, it's probably cheaper than paying for all this hospitalization of these idiots who willingly went there to get their viruses.
You arrest them. Like the last mass gathering in UP daw, last July 27, according to the Manila Bulletin report, was attended by 12,000 people. Okay,
You arrest the leaders.
Arrest 12,000. Where do you put them?
Take the leaders.
Take the leader.
Malalaman mo na naman yung sino yung, ano bang tawag namin dyan noon?
Yung may bulor.
Nakapo.
Yan. Sino yung mga tumatayo-tayo dyan sa stage? O,
Ayan.
yung mga yan.
Yan.
Without leaders,
Mga leader,
uwi
pag
yan,
kinuha
mga
yan,
yan.
mag-uwi yan.
Sinato,
mga
sinato.
tao.
Sino yung mga may hawak ng pera pang distribute para sa kanilang
nakapo.
ano?
Yeah, but what
Pamasahe.
will happen? Then, if you do that, it's like just like
Oh.
1972 na hinuli mo si Jokno, si Aquino, si ano,
Hindi.
and then you will have martyrs.
Exactly.
It doesn't, to begin with, okay, ganito lang, sa akin lang ha, sa akin lang.
Sige,
Pupunta
anong
pareho eh.
suggestion mo? Anong
Hindi,
suggestion
ako,
mo?
disperse them. Pauwiin mo sila.
Di ba?
Why allow them to start?
Simple
Padating pa lang yung mga
dispersal.
jeep.
Hulihin
Huwag
mo.
niyo papasukin.
Correct.
Oh.
Simple dispersal, wag nyo lang ulihin, and really,
At
mo
saka,
yun?
set a firm policy.
First
Huwag
policy.
kayong mag-rally. Kasi nakakakalat kayo ng sakit. Kahit nga yung kahit sabihin niyo kayo lang magkakasakit, hindi totoo yan. Kasi dadating yung mga vendors. Magbebenta. Mga ano, bakit? Kapit sa patalim, mahihirap sila, magbebenta sila kung kailangan. May crowd dyan, economic activity, dadating
Correct.
sila. O so, sino yung dinidihado ninyo? Di ba yung mahihirap din? Yung mga sinasabi ninyong pinaprotektahan ninyo, unang-una ninyong isasabak sa...
Ano ba,
Ano,
ano
sa
ba ang rule?
peligro.
Ano ba ang rule on mass gathering na kumbaga in place? At the beginning of the
Ganun
pandemic,
pa rin. 1 week.
yung requirement na totally, kung ang iyong grupo is more than 10, huwag nyo nang gawin.
Yes.
WHO, that's a health standard. And it's logical for me. Di ba? You don't need any
Meron
law
yung-
to understand that. Di ba? You
Hindi.
don't need any
May rule. Okay, may rule.
Okay.
I forgot this. May rule. Mass gatherings, 10 or more.
any,
ano yan?
any number more than 10.
Iba hindi ka lang mass gathering.
12,000 nga yan, di ba? Hulihin
Di ba?
kasi yan.
Simple as that.
Ayun na nga, hindi nila dinisperse.
Anong problema?
Itong mga to.
Anong problema?
Oo.
Sinulat ba yan ni DOH sa policy?
Oo.
Nasaan na yan? Nandun yan
Oo,
sa
nasa ano yan,
IETF
first
sa
ng PNP.
memo. Yeah.
Okay?
IETF
Yeah, meron yan.
So, anong penalty niyan?
Fine.
Hindi, kinukulong nga yun.
Kinukulong.
Kinukulong nga. Ito problema rin ng PNP.
Okay.
Mga hinuhuli nila, lalo na sa Quezon City, dadalhin, saan ba yan? Sa Moranto yata.
pero...
Basta din na, ayun, siksikan sila doon.
How?
Mga locally standard individuals, dinala sa isang lugar, siksikan sila doon.
Okay. Ang madali lang naman kasi yan eh. We talked about printing money so that we will recoup in the future, we will put value in the future. Ganun din. Lagyan ng mga utang itong mga hayop na to.
Correct.
Bigyan kayo ng mga utang that you will pay after this pandemic. Oh. Diba? And then go home. Gusto mo, the more you insist on being here, ay 5,000 kada hirit mo. Oh, ay di pagkatapos niyan, baon ka sa utang. Tapos sabihin mo ngayon na, unjust itong gobyerno, ikaw ulol ka eh. May choice ka namang umuwi.
Or, just take pictures.
Exactly.
Just take pictures.
Oh, huliin mo yan afterward.
No. Take pictures of everyone that are going to this and blacklist them in hospitals. Pag nagka-COVID kayo,
Well, that's inhumane eh. Para sa akin kasi,
no, you pay.
yung para sa akin kasi hulihin. Okay, bakit hulihin? Dahil yung paghuli kasi is traumatic to people watching it. Okay? And then, nobody really knows what happens when you are taken away by the police. Yeah. And that is traumatic for rallies, saan kaya dinala yun? Di ba? So, yan, magiging deterrent yan. Hindi naman ibig sabihin, akusuhin niyo yung tao, hinuli niyo, ilagay niyo sa presohan na sama-sama sila. Uwihin niyo yan, pero hulihin niyo pa rin.
Bukli sila.
Hulihin niyo. Oh, hulihin niyo, i-book niyo.
Okay. Let's break down this topic, no? Kasi ganito
May
lang.
isa pang issue dyan sa mga rally na yan. Pagka may illegal na assembly, 10 people or more, tumatong Uli ng pulis yan. Ibubuk, dadalhin sa may sign yan. O kaya, pangangaralan lang, tapos pauuwiin.
Ibibilad sa araw.
Ganyan.
Bakit hindi yan nagagawa sa mga nag-rally?
Why? Some are more equal than others? Ganun ba?
Hindi, dahil ano sila eh. Kumbaga, privileged sila eh. Mga ano sila eh. Mga shelter.
Bakit hindi nila hinuli si Angel Locsin? Ayun, nagkarami-rami dyan sa nakaupo sa sidewalk sa
Hindi lang si Angel yan, di ba?
Marami sila.
Yeah, but that's my point. That's my point. Dun sa rally-rally ng ABS-CBN, bakit hindi pinaghuhuli yung mga yan?
Ano ba purpose ng rally? The rally is a show of force. But the rally by itself does not achieve anything. Okay? In fact, in my own experience, as counselor ng USC, ng UP, the biggest rally we organized was the one against the commercialization of the Commonwealth property. It was then called as the Commonwealth Property Development Plan. One day before, Ramos was set to sign the contract with Ayala. We staged the biggest rally, which was attended not only by UP Diliman, but also by all the other campuses. In fact, ang pinakamalaking contingent from outside was UP Los Baños. Did we intend to achieve what we wanted to achieve by just staging that rally? No.
What?
Kung nag-iisip tong mga organizers, view rally to communicate a cause. A call na kung naniniwala kayong logical yan at paniniwalaan yung call nyo, i-communicate mo yan by shouting. You communicate that by talking to the person you want to talk to. And that's what we did. We sent, okay, lagpas kami 10,000, nagrarally, ilan yun, 20,000. But we sent a small group to Malacanang to talk to the President. And even before we could reach Mindiola, pumayag ang Malacanang, huwag nyo na ituloy yan. Kasi they listen. And when they listen and they heard na tama yung aming sinasabi, Ramos did not sign the contract. And who signed that contract for that land to be leased to Ayala? Kayo ang nakaupo sa USC noon. We were never able to stop that. Why? Rally lang kasi yung kayo ng rally. Hindi nyo alam kung paano magpag-usap with the intended recipient ng iyong message. Which means, wala naman talaga kayong message eh. Wala naman kayong outcome na gustong marating. Ang gusto nyo lang mag-rally.
Gusto lang ninyo magkalat ng COVID.
Diba? So, at this point in time, yan yung problema natin. Nakakadagdag sa health crisis. Na kung i-address ito, lahat proactively and lahat, kumbaga, logically ng ating gobyerno, kasama yan. Economic side, health aspect, tsaka yung, hindi lang kasi to segmented into statistics dito, itong issue na to, hindi. Lahat apektado, hindi na gumagalaw itong buong ekonomiya ng bansa natin. Lahat tayo apektado. Diba? Hindi ko nga alam kung saan ako kukuha ng pagbayad ng kuryente at saka tubig. Diba? So, ang punto dito is, if we keep this show, if you treat it like a show, na reality TV, na dinidirect ni Big Brother, di ba? This is not reality TV. Hindi natin, buhay natin kaya dito lahat. So, I'm sorry dun sa mga kaibigan natin na
Wala na dyan naman.
rally ng rally. Wala po kayong nagbibigay na tulong sa community ini-infect ninyo.
Okay, so ano natin, ulitin natin. So we started this off, yung discussion natin,
Right.
ang pinag-uusapan natin, well, hindi naman tayo lumayo sa health eh. Yung communications, yung ineffective communications ng DOH. Correct policy, basura
Weak
communication.
communication.
Tapos, sino lang, alam mo, to be fair, sa kay PCOO, hindi, kay
Martin?
PIA, hindi, kay
Ah,
PIA,
PIA.
head Mon Coloping, parang siya lang ang nag-explain sa PCOO. Sa totoo lang, you don't get the barrage of explainers from that agency except for DG Coloping.
Ang isa
The
pang
PIA,
problema,
kudos.
kahit na yung mga kahit yung mga oposisyon na marami naman sana matatalino din dyan.
Marami.
Tumulong din sana sa pagpapaliwanag nito sa mga kasama nilang nasa oposisyon. Hindi eh.
We have a lot of people communicating.
Nanininutin
Pero, parang it's like the reason why people listen to us. Because most lawyers love to talk like lawyers. They love to listen to themselves talk. Or kumbaga, they're talking as though they're in court. And they leave their audience behind.
Tuwang-tuwa.
Anong DOH? Ganyan. They're talking. And they're talking like doctors.
Yeah,
And they're talking like doctors talking to other doctors.
Exactly.
Or doctors talking to patients. Na para ba?
Talking down.
Okay ha, uminom ka ng ganito, dosage mo.
Huwag ka na magtanong.
Huwag ka nang tanong, sundin mo na lang. That's good.
Ganito kasi yan eh. Tapos banatang ka ng santamakmak na terms na, wait, what?
Wala na.
Wala na. You get lost after the first phrase. Yun yung point dito. Is that there's something lost in the communication. And then we go up to these things. Rallies. Rallies are supposed to be a form of communication.
Yeah.
Ito ay kino-communicate, supposedly nitong minority na ito, yung kanilang hinanaing, yung nagpipetition sila na sagutin ng gobyerno itong kanilang hinaing, itong kanilang nakikitang kontrobersya, itong pagkakadehado, whether of themselves o isang sektor ng lipunan, pinaglalaban nila.
That's good.
Pero what happens? May nakikinig ba sa kanila? Hindi. Kasi in the process of doing that, hindi ba ang sabi, the medium is the message. Mag-rally ka. Anong ginawa mo? You left UP with a lot of infected people. So bakit kami makikinig sa inyo? Bakit magiging reasonable yung hinihingi ninyo samantalang yung display of anger ninyo ay nakasama sa aming lahat? Bakit kami wala dyan? Kasi ninyo, binuburden ninyo yung mga medical frontliners natin.
And what is the objective there? Na matanggal ang Pangulo? What the hell? Be realistic. Kung gusto nyo matanggal yung gobyerno, mag-rebellion kayo. Okay, do the crime. Para makulong kayong lahat.
So, somewhere in between is also us talking to each other. Kasi nakikita natin, may mga humahanash. Diba? Kukunin nila yung sinabi ng gobyerno. Wala, 34,000 recovery, ay 37,000 recoveries. Ngayon, binibilang na nila pati asymptomatic as recovered. Wait! May shortcut yon. Asymptomatic plus 14 days no increase symptoms no It's more complicated than that. But hindi. Gusto nila, kaya kahit mismo mga tao na dapat maiintindihan yung pinaparating sa atin ng DOH, bakit ganyan ng DOH? Pati yung mga may sakit, yung lang walang symptoms, bibilangin nyo sa recovered. At para lumaki yung mga number of recovered. Dami na. Mamaya yan, may bunga ng conspiracy theory sa dulo yan.
Wala rin naman
So, na-distract lang tayo.
kinakasuhan.
Ano ba yung distraction yan? We pay attention to what we should be doing para ma-ease yung burden over COVID.
Yeah, in fact, at this time, napakarami nating, yung iba, napakaraming time, no? Wag nyo namang hingiin yung lahat ng bagay, shortcut, di ba? Na may makita na kayo isang piece ng bagay na totoo dun sa sinabi, kahit na yung isang katutak na kasama ay kasinungalingan, sasabihin mo ng totoo. Tapos, makarinig ka lang ng isang quote, doon sa nakita mo lang yung picture ng isang tao na may quote, isang sentence na hindi nga, minsan isang phrase lang, isipin nyo lang that's the whole statement. No! You have a lot of time.
Mag-research din
Basahin
kayo.
mo yung basis na saan ang galing yan. Like si Van Paglinawan, no? Nagpaalam ako dito kasi si Van, pinsan ko yan. Sabi ko kay Ahmed, patol tirahin. Kasi may nakita akong isang quote na talagang napakasama nung sinabi niya. Ay, basta may kinalaman siya, tapos hinanap ko. Saan niya ba ito sinabi? Wala naman siya sinabing gano'n. Di ba? So, I stopped myself. So, ang punto is, before you react to anything or to something or take something as it's the whole truth, take some time to check. Di ba? And if there are people who try to take some time to check and then try to, basahin niyo yung buo, huwag yung unang sentence, yung sentence na gusto niyong
Maganda yung ganyang methodology kasi it takes you away from the urge to say, to put your foot in your mouth. Kasi makakalimutan mo na yung gusto mong gawin. Ano nga ba gusto mo? Tirahin si ganito. Mas masarap ito binabasa ko eh. Hindi ko pa nahanap yung sagot eh. Ganyan. Diba? So, it takes you away from stupidity of
oras naman tayo
radio.
eh. Basa. Simple lang, di ba? And communicate properly. And if you want to really communicate something, you found out something that's really, really, really bad, then say it.
Or file cases. Diba? You don't get what you want immediately. So gusto nyo na franchise ng ABS-CBN? You cannot get it right now. Kahit na mag-rally kayo araw-araw dyan, get yourself sick. Hindi nyo makukuha yan agad-agad. So what is the more viable way of getting what you want in the future but ensured that you will get it in that future? Hindi yung mag-rally ka, wala, magkasakit ka nga, hindi mo pa nakukuha. You are not thinking, these people are not thinking. That is my problem with the revolution of these people now, because I was part of that in the past. Na no one is thinking in this fucking revolution. Everyone is a moron here. So I will leave you and I will have my own revolution sometime in the future when Joma Season is dead.
Bakit ka maghihintay na? Anyway, pero, okay. So finally, ako lang, yung punto kasi dito eh, sobrang daming clutter na ini-introduce sa atin. The 9 billion. Why the hell is that an issue now? Di ba? Ang tagal na yan eh. Okay. The ganitong sa kalagitnaan ng ABS-CBN, biglang lalabas yung issue na biglang tumaba si Angel Oxin. Alam mo yun?
Fat shaming.
Please, diba? Please be mindful. Diba? Whenever this, wala talagang pinanggagalingan ng mga issue comes out.
Ay, hindi, teka. I don't take issue with that, ha?
Meron pinangalingan, tumaba naman talaga yun.
Well, factual yun, tumaba naman siya.
Yeah, but does it happen now?
The issue there was bakit siya bawal i-fat shaming. They never stopped before. They never stopped people from fat shaming Joe Vernaurio. No, they were connecting this. Before that, the issue was Kaki Pangilinan and her issues with Ayun na nga. No, that's why it is relevant. It is relevant because they have sacred cows. They set her up to be a sacred cow. Hindi siya pwedeng patikusin. You cannot bash her so that she comes out now. I am fighting for the people.
But
she's fat as a cow now. So
yun na nga yung point.
The question is, was she being bashed at the time?
Wala, hindi nga.
Was she even being bashed at the time?
Hindi nga eh.
Yun na nga, they
Was
were
she even
stopping her. They were stopping people. Parang ginagawa siya. Sacred cow. Yun na nga yung point
Yun na yung punto
ko.
ko. Diba? May mga issue na may konting katotohanan. May mga pinanggagalingan. Pero biglang puputok na wala namang saan galing to, di ba?
Walang utility.
I'll give you another example. What happened to Miriam College? Di ba? Pinutok din nila yun. Tapos, hindi wala na.
Hindi na pan out.
Akala niyo ba kung gaano katindi yung kaso na yun? Kung totoo yan?
Ano ba nangyari doon sa Miriam kasi? Kwentuhan mo ako.
Male teachers, high school girls,
Hinaras.
you know how big that issue is? You bring it out and then
You leave it like that.
Diba? Ang punto dito is, if these are real issues, if these are true issues, these are issues that are worth discussing. Diba? It will come out naturally.
Pero sa akin, itong mga nire-raise na issue, it's just to cause chaos.
No.
There is no resolution for all these things that they want to
Mag-ingat ka. Mag-ingat ka. Kasi whenever they raise this stuff, something else happens.
Well, I don't, bakit ako mag-iingat yan? That's not my problem. That is theirs.
What are we not seeing now? Because we are seeing this, 9 trillion. What do we not see now? Okay? Is it the passage of your
Anti-terrorism bill?
No, of your franchises sa Senate?
Yung mga yan.
Mga ganun, hindi natin nakikita.
Oh.
What is going on in Congress? Are they still airing live their sessions?
Hindi na.
Is Senate airing live their sessions? Can we see their discussions?
Samantala.
Yan ang mga basic questions na dapat nating tingnan. Kasi may mga issue na talagang tunay at this point in time. Diba? Napilit nilang tinatakpan by offering you a salivating topic. Like Angel Oxin, hindi kami fan. Si Angel Oxin, nandiyan pa pala siya. Like, in really coming up with this. Like, this person doing this. Yan ang mga problema natin. Sasabay tayo. And good thing is that nababawasan na ng konti yung crowd ng ABS-CBN sa
Nabawasan na
attention.
talaga.
Wala na
Kasi
talaga.
Online, even online, they cannot compete.
Yeah. So, but unfortunately, international media, they're still picking up their news. Like the news about UP, that's carried by MSN, that's carried by other.
Yun nga, kasi, tail end yan tail end yan ng influence. So, there it is. We have to stop sometime.
Yeah.
Ano lang ako kasi, it's still a communications issue.
It is always
When you're talking about, yung mga liberalist ideas like fat shaming, body shaming,
PC.
PC-ness, hindi pwedeng sabihin pangit yung isang tao, hindi pwedeng sabihin. Tapos, ang nakakainis niyan,
Sino bring out?
hindi lang yun. It's discriminatory. Some people you protect from body shaming, then others you don't. Diba?
Like the Catholic Church. Father Bishop, good evening. Diba? Ilang taon kayong binanat-panatan ng ABS-CBN? Tapos
And
ngayon,
suddenly it's lucky.
Ngayon, Catholic na Catholic. Tapos, UP, di ba? Protektado nyo, magpapatunog ka pa ng karilyon. Tapos ngayon, sa balita, yung transmission nangyayari sa workplaces ng UP, ano yan? Yung mga professors who are heads of officers, they do not even protect their employees. Diba? This twisting of information, of news, deflecting attention on the true issues. Dapat maingat tayo dyan. Kasi even yung mga taong tumutulong sa kanila sa mga issue nila,
Nawawalan gana.
kaya nilang kaya nilang itapon sa apoy kung gusto nila,
Bayaan lang.
Diba?
Bakit? Meron bang nila ng ABS-CBN para sa healthcare ng mga relista para sa kanila? Sasagutin ba nila yung pa-hospital nitong mga to? Kahit COVID test man lang,
Tomorrow,
sagutin ba nila?
Tomorrow is August already. So, termination. Huwag natin kalimutan yung 11,000. 71. Alright? Hindi pa naman bukas yung termination. I think end of August or August 15. I don't know.
Terminate nyo.
Terminate nyo.
And then what do we do? Mag-rally uli kayo? Sige, go ahead.
Diba? Kasi ang tanong ko dyan is very, 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 very simple. Last May, you tell us in your statement that you will never stop performing your duty to the Filipinos, to bring out your mission to bring out the truth. And then, you tell us you're going to fire everyone. And then after that, 1 week after, you will say, we will never stop doing our
Duty.
duty to you. Okay, so how will you do that without your staff? Nilolong mo bumako? Sige nga, 11,071. Ubusin mo. And then you continue going on the air sa YouTube at saka sa cable. Wala kang cameraman. So, sinong tinatanggal nyo talaga? yung mga taga-kinsan niya. Wala namang kailangan franchise dyan. Sino tinatanggal nyo talaga? Yung nasa cargo business nyo. Wala namang franchise dyan.
Sino yung tinatanggal niyo yung nandun sa holding corporation? Dahil bakit? Ano bang trabaho kailangan gawin ng holding corporation kundi
Wala namang franchise to.
kumangkam lang ng pera?
Oh,
Pero wala namang franchise na problema yon. But you fire these people just to put meat in your argument na kinawawa ng gobyerno ang mga tao ninyo. But no, it is your bullshit that is the cause of all of these
diba?
things.
You tell us that you will not stop your broadcast, you will not stop your news services, you will not stop your service to the Filipino,
Yeah, I don't
and then you will
understand.
fire everyone.
Go ahead, do that. Let's, and the only thing that I really wish we can do, ay singilin itong ABS-CBN for not doing what it said it will do. Diba? Nandito nga, sinabi mo to, pag hindi mo sinabi, magpatukan kita.
Yeah.
Parang ganyan, no? There's a way of doing that.
Which brings us to this, anong tinatakpan with the 9 billion this time, no? 9 trillion this time. Kasi nakakatakot to. From ABS-CBN, this is just a handing down, no? Of the, para ito ka na, turnover ceremony.
Well, don't worry about that because
Okay.
we are here and we will,
So,
whatever it is that they're
Even
trying
if
to
we
hide.
will throw us 9 trillion issue, kung ano na namang issue next week, na bago na naman,
Mga pala yun yung hindi
we
nasama
will not
natin
lose
sa
sight.
recap.
We will not lose sight.
Pera.
Yung economics.
So, tatlo yung major issues dito. Yung communications ng DOH about the recoveries.
Strategy.
Yung understanding
Again,
the problem.
correct policy, platforms. Yung salsal ngayon tungkol sa yes, I'm using the word salsal. Okay. Yung salsal tungkol dun sa pera, sa ginastos, bakit ganito, bakit ganyan. Unang-una, the first and most important thing about the money is that it is actually being spent and being used to revitalize or to keep the economy going. Okay. Dun pa lang, in fact, yung iba, the more cynical of us will say na kahit paninakaw yan, basta
Basta
ginastos dito.
ginastos. Basta
Okay,
binili yan. Buhay ang
Of
Pilipino.
course, we still have to concern ourselves with the fact that it's public money. Pero pwedeng later na yon. And in fact, para namang hindi nag-audit taon-taon ng COA. However,
Tsaka
okay.
ilang billion lang ba ang lumabas dito sa
Yung actual, wala pang trillion. Wala
Tapos
pa.
90.
Hindi, ang inaano pa. Bakit kayo hirap ng hirap? Next issue on money, bakit kayo hirap ng hirap?
Kailangan
Lubog na sa utang, Pilipinas, chuchu.
You need it.
We need it.
Idiots.
We need it. One, there's no money being generated. Number two, we can pay. Kasi of all the countries in Southeast Asia, we have the strongest economy. Hindi kayo sanay, ano? We have the strongest economy. It's all
The point
over the
is,
news.
And even if we can,
And even if we can,
We
we have to do it.
yun
Yeah,
nga,
so gusto mo
ang
makakaya
ang punto
sa
sa is as long as a person is alive, he will come into money.
Okay, and then number three was, of course, ito ng,
Ito nalirati.
Lanix. Communicate.
BS like that.
Money, comms, dun sa ito yung isa. Yun nga, itong sa rallies, na parang, ito, drugs. Meron pa drugs. Dun sa zona.
yeah.
Dun sa zona.
Drugs doon?
Oo.
Yung bakit daw,
Kasi
kailangan
that will probably be the next issue ng mga kabilang
ano
pangkat.
na naman daw?
Yeah. Grabe, drug war, EJK na naman.
dahil
ayaw, hindi
last week
binigyan
na tayo
ng
ng COVID.
Yung
ganyan.
hindi niya
Death
binigyan.
penalty. Nag-death penalty kayo? Hindi niyo ba alam may pandemic? Gusto ko sabihin, nag-rally kayo? Hindi niyo ba alam may pandemic? Ano ba kayo?
But, what in the entire zona was the biggest percentage of airtime, consumed the biggest percentage of airtime sa speech ng Presidente.
Si,
Okay, he talked about communications. He talked about telecommunications, not just broadcast. Okay? And that underscores the importance of this issue. Kasi sa panahon ngayon, na hindi tayo freely makakagalaw, yung ating ekonomiya will have to depend on our ability to continue our transactions economically, not even just that, even socially, and pati culturally, at saka yung ating education ng mga kabataan, dito nakasalalay sa development ng ating communications and telecommunications infrastructure ng bansa. na sa napakatagal ng panahon ay pinabayaan ng dalawang
Ahensya.
duopoly, no? Yung duopoly na hinayaan lang din naman ng ating mga regulators na i-dominate nila into depth. Hindi tayo nagsimula from the bottom, ha? You read the earlier
pinakamalakas
earlier
tayo.
assessments ng mga foreign technical experts on telecommunications. We were advanced in the early 90s sa buong Asia. No, not except after Japan. No? But at least for Southeast Asia, we were way ahead of everyone else in the late 90s.
Ngayon, bumulok na tayo ng bumulok.
Why? Sino nagpabaya? Okay?
Wala nang competition.
Huwag natin kalimutan
Sila lang dalawa eh.
ang usapan about the oligarchy and how this will bring us down, and it's going to bring us down. And right now, there are legislations ng renewal ng mga franchises to help them consolidate all of these things, making it that so hard for that third telco to even take
Kami.
off.
Well, these things, we will be talking about all of these things in the days to
Yeah,
come.
hindi tayo mawawala dyan sa issue na
We will look at legislation that are already now pending in the Senate because they slipped our attention while they were in Congress, and you will have a you are in for a surprise because some of the people who authored all these laws in favor of these more oligarchs were the people that we thought were with us when we fought ABS-CBN.
Ay, more on this.
Of these things.
In the coming week, maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay sa amin. Oh, tagal natin today.
Alright.
Maraming
Bye.
salamat. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and share. More siguro over the weekend if something happens. Motion for recall this week. Nag-motion to dismiss si Reza dun sa second title case.
Motion to dismiss in a criminal case?
In a preliminary investigation.
That is a prohibited reading.
Anyway, maraming salamat.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.